Welcome back to our continuing coverage of The Long Walk. I'm your host, Bobby Thompson, and during the break, my eyes have been glued on Hank Olson, number 70. If you've been watching this broadcast since the beginning, and I hope you have, then you already know that early in this competition, Olson has been struggling. For over a day now, he has been walking along like a zombie, his face pallid and waxy. Like the rest of you viewers, I keep expecting this young man to fall over and die, and yet he keeps on going. Through my binoculars, I can see his tongue just lolling outside of his mouth, and I can't remember the last time he called for a canteen refill. All of this summons the question, how is he still alive? How is he still maintaining this grueling 4 miles an hour pace? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have a theory about Mr. Olson. What if he is faking it? What if his grave level of exhaustion all of this time has been a ruse, a deception, to at first lull his competitors and then to ultimately demoralize them? It's just a theory, though. Only time will tell if it plays out. But if I could offer some advice to any future contestants listening at home out there, when you are taking the long walk, trust no one. It's now 2 o'clock. Number 5, Barkovich, has been keeping his mouth shut during the last couple of hours. Good for him. I'm surprised he didn't make a single joke at the expense of those sunstroke victims. And it might be because his own gait now seems just a bit hindered. There's a slight limp. And number 61, McVries, is tailgating Barkovich, his eyes glaring into the bully's back like he's been trying to use telekinesis to make Barkovich trip. Number 54, Dougie Irwin, has spent the last 30 minutes walking as fast as he can so he can work off that third warning. He's wearing a bright green vest, which, as he stated in his essay, brings him good luck. Apparently, he has won 2 Ohio State spelling bees, all while wearing that vest. But this is not a spelling bee or Ohio, and I'm guessing that vest really isn't good luck. Although if the crowd was given the chance, they would snatch that up as a souvenir. But the soldiers are quickly getting to work, stowing number 54 in a body bag, vest and all. One of the most enthusiastic spectators right now is a man on the sidelines. He is standing next to a station wagon that is filled with watermelons.
Hey, boys. Good job, boys. Keep walking, my friends.
And his free watermelon sign is too entrancing for these boys, many of whom cannot resist walking in his direction, even if it means getting a warning for going the wrong way. But as delicious as those melons look, spectators are not allowed to give any food or drink to the walkers.
What do you think you are doing? You want them to have some watermelon.
But Mr. Leantio is having a hard time understanding the rules.
This my watermelon, you dumb cop. I wanna give, I gonna give. Hey, what you think? Get off of my casa, you are das.
No melons allowed. And the walkers and the whole crowd, they are not happy with this. Some of the spectators are pelting the troopers with bottles, and I think I see a transistor radio flying through the air. They want the boys to have a little bit of refreshment, but rules are rules, no matter how mouth-watering those melons might be. The cops are trying to drag away this colorful character, and oh my, he is making a break for the sidelines, folks.
You no gonna catch me. you stupid cops.
And this man is throwing a handful of watermelon slices onto the road. And number 2 snatches one right out of the air. The crowd is wild with delight. Looks like 5 or 6 of the boys are scrambling to get a piece of the fruit. And now Dom Leantio is finally being dragged out of view.
Dom Leantio love you all.
The spectators love him. Old Dom is going to get a beating, so I hope it is worth it. But a few of the boys have managed to grab a little bit of joy after all. And number 2, Abraham, a big grin on his face and juice dripping off his lips, shouts to the crowd, saying, "I love everybody." Oh, and the audience is loving him right back. I tell you what, folks, this good-natured young man has the right attitude to go all the way. And though it's not my job to pick favorites, my fingers are crossed that this young man with the bad teenage mustache, that he becomes the last walker standing and wins a lifetime supply of watermelon and anything else his heart desires. At the very least, he seems poised to outwalk odds-on favorite Scram, whose illness, cold, flu, whatever, has been worsening. Like the other boys on the asphalt, Scram is smiling happily over the free watermelon, but he's also coughing in between bites. The rest of the walkers are laughing, enjoying themselves. It looks like almost every one of them has snatched up a piece of watermelon. Except number 88, Stebbins, of course. Apparently he prefers jelly sandwiches. But for just about everybody else, the morale is high once again. Enjoy it while it lasts, lads. And it is now 2:30 p.m. There is now a gentle breeze cooling down the walkers. Just look at those grins, folks. That is the expression of renewed hope. And now, looking skyward, I can see some dark clouds swiftly moving in to block out the scorching sun rays. The Motega brothers, by the way, ever the Stoics, they are not smiling. But they do have a revitalized spring in their step as they continue to lead the vanguard. Number 99, Leland Young, is one of the few walkers still trying to keep up with the brothers' pace. But now he's letting that vanguard go on ahead. Looks like his ankle's a little bit sore. And it looks like number 42, Fritz, is enjoying his watermelon a little too much. He has eaten the whole slice, rind and all, and if my grandmother was correct, that's going to lead to a severe stomachache. And while the walkers remain cheerful, the spectators are even more enthusiastic. Today and tonight you will notice more and more crowds the closer we get to Old Town Maine. You might think that constant cheers would urge a walker ever onward, but I've been told by former champions that the applause and encouragement of those well-wishers simply blends into a white noise that numbs more than it inspires. Even that hopeful sea of smiles metastasizes into something that walkers call crowd face. This is when all spectators blur into a single entity, and all faces begin to look unreal, inhuman. You might say artificial, and downright eerie. Ah, that breeze is picking up into a wind, and I do believe a storm might be on its way, folks. The walkers' smiles are fading. Not long ago they were wishing the heat away, but now that the thermometer is dropping and the wind is picking up, the boys aren't too thrilled with this change in the weather. One lad who regrets nothing is number 5, Gary Barkovich. He has come prepared for all sorts of nasty weather, and right now the young man has donned his rain hat. He doesn't have friends down there on the road, but he still manages to have a good time. Number 85, Edwin Scram, has taken off his shirt, welcoming the wind as it cools down his feverish temperatures. Yes, it's blowing hard enough out here. The spectators are scattering, picnic blankets are being whisked away. but the walkers and the soldiers who follow them must remain on course. The boys have to lean into this harsh wind. And it's not easy to hear the sound of the warnings, but it looks like number 99 is on his final warning, and that sprained ankle has really slowed him down. And down goes Mr. Young. Never will he grow old. And as the soldiers remove the fallen walker, the other boys looked stunned by the gunshot, as if a little bit of watermelon had made them forget, at least temporarily, the nature of this deadly sport. And as if placated by the sacrifice of number 99, the howling winds are subsiding back down into a more bearable breeze. But there is an electric charge in the air. This storm is not over, and I think all of these boys are going to be drenched in the not-too-distant future, just as soon as those ominous clouds finally decide to drop their payloads. You know, it's been over a decade since we've seen a walker struck by lightning. Maybe it'll happen this year. Collie Parker, number 72, seems to be the most vocal about his hatred of the weather, and he still blames it on the old state of Maine, which usually vexes Raymond Garrity, but right now these two seem to have a lot less hostility between one another. Sharing watermelon will do that to you, I guess. But number 63, Montag, is not getting along with 81, Joey Radigan. These two are still maintaining a brisk pace, but Montag is yelling. If I'm reading his lips correctly, he's claiming that Radigan stole a ration packet from his back pocket. And let's see, checking the tapes, I'm getting a nod from our crew that yes, Radigan did in fact pull another pickpocket stunt, but when you are on the long walk, such crimes as that go unpunished, at least as far as the soldiers are concerned. Now, the storm may still be looming, but with the gentle wind, an ideal temperature has returned. And with the fair weather, friendly conversation returns as well. Baker, number 3, is chatting with some of his walking companions. The topic is a bit macabre, cemetery plots and mausoleums. But I think you'll find that the further along we go, the more the walkers speak of their own imminent mortality, as well as lively discussions about how they would like to be buried. Ooh, and more rumbling from the tormented heavens. It looks like the downpour will begin. Yes, but it is not rain, it is hail. Ouch! Some big ones, too. And Scram is not happy to be shirtless now. I don't know if he dropped that shirt of his, but it's not coming back on. The hail is pebble-sized for now. Let's hope it doesn't get to the size of golf balls, as it sometimes can during these freakish storms. Speaking of freakish or freaking out, number 56, that's Jensen, seems to be in a panic. The hail has apparently caused him to snap mentally, and he is stumbling around, running in circles. He's bumping into others, and now he's going the wrong way, which means, yeah, down he goes. Face down, Jensen, hail pelting his body, but he doesn't mind it anymore. Well, suddenly it feels not like May 2nd, but like we're in the middle of winter. Everyone else is doing a good job of remaining calm, plodding through this miserable weather. All those smiles from that watermelon moment, they're all wiped clean now. A lot of frowns out there, except for Barkovich, of course. He is taking delight in the suffering of others, as usual. And then I also spy Olson. Now, he doesn't pay this weather any mind as well, as the pelting storm of hail turns to sleet, and from sleet to rain. And as our drenched competitors slog onward, I believe it is time for a commercial break. What's worse than a clogged drain?
Nuclear Armageddon.
Well, aside from that, nothing is as bad as a backed-up bathtub or a toilet that just won't flush. Now, some plumbers will pour toxic chemicals down your sink to no avail. But our method is so natural, it's supernatural. Call now, and the Moving Finger Plumbing Company will send a representative right up your pipe and unclog that drain. Our technicians have first-hand experience. You don't want to leave your plumbing problems to just anyone, right? You get the point. Moving Finger Plumbing will unclog your drain, guaranteed. You have our pinky promise. Welcome back, folks. It is now 7:15 p.m. The sun has been lost behind those drizzling rain clouds, and darkness is settling in. The storm has subsided a few hours ago, and now it's just general dampness. We've come back from our station break just in time because it looks like number 27, Ken Fields, has fainted dead away. I mean dead in the figurative sense, of course. But I think it will soon be literal because a pair of soldiers are trotting over and, here it comes. And that was a punch ticket for one of our youngest members. Ken Fields was only 13 years old. Although, and this is cute, his application essay emphasizes that he is actually 13 3/4. Also that he likes basketball, model cars, and dinosaurs. Oh, my apologies. Liked. Past tense. And that means there have now been 49 punched tickets. Who will be number 50? Which of these boys will carry us past the halfway point of this ordeal? Will it be number 42, Fritz, whose stomach cramps have only gotten worse since this afternoon? Or will number 61, McVries, finally snap once and for all, stopping in his tracks to yell at the supposed injustice of this beautiful country of ours? Or will Hank Olson finally run out of gas and end his agony as punch ticket number 50? You folks back home, at least the gamblers among you, you must be anxious because number 50 is traditionally everyone's favorite side bet. For now, as the dark clouds pass and the stars begin to emerge, all we can do is watch and wait. Because even though we're anxious to see who it is, not one of these walkers want to volunteer for that honor. And who can blame them? And so while we wait, let's just try to enjoy the present as crickets serenade us to pass the time. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, unlucky number 13, Roger Finham, seems to be staggering. He's received his first warning, and even the blaring megaphone of the soldiers has not snapped him out of his stupor. I don't think number 13 is sleepwalking exactly. He is gradually losing consciousness, just fading away, one erratic footstep at a time. Oh, and Finham is down on his knees. He just buckled and he is on the pavement, and now he's on face first on the ground, and a soldier is standing over him. Now you may recall Roger Finham, RF to his friends according to his application. He wanted to become an anthropologist or an archaeologist. Well, now it looks like neither of those things will be happening. At least not in this world. And with number 13's punched ticket, 50 walkers now remain. Big congratulations out there to all those gamblers who picked number 13. Maybe it is lucky after all. And let's take a look at who is left on the roster. The lads who are still going strong include the Motego brothers, and number 2, Abraham, who is, of course, my personal favorite now. He is still looking good, and number 88, Stebbins, He has long ago mastered the art of pacing himself. He's still looking great. George Fielder, number 24, looks pretty confident in his stride. And to give credit to number 61, McVry's still exudes a lot of energy, but we've seen how chaotic he can be. So he's on a good pace right now, but if he continues to fluctuate from amiable to aggressive, I don't see how he's going to make it into the top 10. And it's always good to check in on our hometown hero, number 47. Garrity is still trudging along. You might say he still has that home field advantage. Garrity may have walked off more warnings than any other living contestant this year, at least so far. We will keep tabs on him and the rest of the walkers as we go to commercial. Boy, they sure made smoking glamorous in the old days, didn't they? Macho, elegant, popular. But what Hollywood and Madison Avenue didn't tell you is that cigarettes make your teeth yellow, your lungs weak, and your love life pathetic. That's right, ashtray breath. There are a lot of reasons to quit, but who cares about motivation? At Quitters Inc., we care about one thing: results. If you become a client at Quitters Inc., we will cure you of your nasty smoking habit, guaranteed, thanks to our mind-blowing new method. How do we do it? Simple. First, we learn all about you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, your job. Then we find out where your wife works and where your son goes to school. Next, if you have any cigarettes on your person, we destroy them right in front of you. After that, we send you on your merry way. Just know that our operatives will have you under constant supervision. If our operatives catch you smoking a cigarette, your spouse or loved one will be kidnapped and brought into a small rectangular room with a window where you will watch them receive a low-yield electric charge that will be painful but won't render any permanent damage. But don't worry, that probably won't happen to you, because today you begin your beautiful new tobacco-free life. Over the next month, you'll see a lot of positive changes, and we'll see them too, because we will be watching. At Quitters Inc., where you will stop going up in smoke. It is now 10 minutes past 8. Twilight has relented to the darkness, and the remaining walkers brace for what will surely be the bleakest night of their lives. Unless, of course, they survive until night 3. But for the spectators, it is all cheers and hoots and hollers as we inch closer to Old Town. There's a big glowing arrow welcoming them, guiding the walkers onward. Well, look at this. Number 88, Stebbins, is hopping on one foot. He might be in... Oh, no. At first I thought it was a sign of injury, but it looks like the young man is just changing his shoes. Mid-walk, he is removing his tennis shoes as he hops along, slipping on a pair of moccasins without even earning a warning. I tell you, folks, this young man has come to the walk prepared. Number 46, Jamie Gallant, the tree hugger among the walkers, now appears to be hugging himself as if trying to comfort his inner child, perhaps hoping he will convince his body to keep walking. So far, it seems to be working. Number 95, Freddie Wilson, one of the younger contestants still on his feet, is walking alongside the half-track. Get this, he's asking the soldiers, how much longer do they have to go? Now there's someone who did not come prepared. And the soldiers, of course, are just ignoring him. Out of courtesy or out of annoyance, number 72, Parker, is telling this poor kid to stop talking to the soldiers. Remember, lads, conserve wind. The less talk, the better. For the past few hours, we've had a long stretch of flat land. But now, the walkers are beginning to trudge up a pretty steep incline. You can hear their groans as they begin their ascent. The Matega brothers are already up and over without complaint. Oh, one of the boys tripped. I think that was 53, Huang, but he's quickly getting back up. He does get himself a warning, though. And number 25, Albert Fielding. He is walking uphill, and both of his sneakers are untied. And his slow pace has earned him a third warning. We will keep an eye on him, but he better step it up. Number 72, Parker, is sweating his way up to the summit, all the while cursing the terrain of New England. He is not a fan of this region. Oh, I promised to keep an eye on number 25, but we missed it. He just got his ticket punched. The soldier shot him once in the back of the knee. Ouch. And there goes the other knee. And there goes Albert once and for all. That last one knocked him out of his shoes. You will notice, ladies and gentlemen, now that we're past the halfway point, we might witness a lot more of that. What I mean is, ladies and gentlemen, after we pass the halfway point, the soldiers tend to get a little more creative with their punch tickets. You know, to alleviate the boredom. And just about all of the boys have reached the summit. Number 95, Wilson, is straggling over to the side. Perhaps he's going to make a run for it. He shouldn't. The soldiers are watching him closely. Actually, I think he's just a little disoriented. He's turned around looking back at the soldiers as if he's stopping to ask for direction. And again, there's no guidance that is going to be offered from the soldiers. Number 95 is just standing there as he earns his final warning. Maybe he's taking the hint. He's turned around to go in the right direction, at least, as he moseys up the hill. And I do mean mosey. He's not in a hurry, and he should be. Stebbins is bringing up the rear. He's passing Wilson by. And if I'm reading his lips correctly, number 95 is mouthing the words to an old sing-along song about a bicycle built for two. But he never made it to the chorus. Wilson's ticket has been punched, and that means 48 walkers remain. And we have almost reached the city limits of Old Town, and it looks like the entire community has come out to welcome the walkers as they leave behind that steep incline and are now treated to a gentle, winding slope. And there's no doubt who the crowd loves. Number 47. They are chanting Garrity's name over and over. The Old Town High School football team is here. So are the cheerleaders. Garrity is waving and smiling at the fans, trying to seem happy through the fatigue. But as the cheers continue and the blur of the crowd face settles in, I can see that Garrity is more interested in Mr. Hank Olson. Garrity is sidling up towards Olson, walking alongside of the shambling teenager. Looks like he's hoping to strike up a conversation. I don't think Garrity is doing this to pester the poor lad. In fact, Olson seems to be replying. But even with these binoculars, I can't quite tell what these two are saying. Meanwhile, Scram is still shirtless and still suffering from flu symptoms, and he's using his bare arm to wipe away the... Back to number 47 and 70. It looks like Garrity is now yelling something at Olson, like he's angry about something. But it's not fazing Olson. He's too... or is it? It looks like number 70 is starting to veer off the road. Something he hasn't done despite his ghoulish gait. Well, now he's walking over to the half-track on the side of the road. And that's a first warning he gets. Whatever Garrity said to number 70, he may have finally cracked this poor kid because, as you know, approaching soldiers is never a good strategy. The crowd is hushed now, all eyes on Olson to see what he is up to. As he reaches the vehicle, he begins to climb up the half-track. He must have a death wish, folks. It is going to... Oh, my stars. Olson has snatched the rifle from the soldier, and he flings the weapon off to the side of the road. I've never seen this happen, folks. I've never imagined it was possible. Oh, and that's a punch ticket for Olson. Point blank, but not a headshot. That went into his stomach. And Olson is still clutching the half-track. Not just clutching, folks. He is still climbing it. He is grabbing another rifle. He raises it into the air. It fires, but it misses him. 2 more bullets. Right in the gut. And Olson is vaulted off the half-track, spread eagle, onto the asphalt. Oh, yikes. Oh, there's another spray of bullets. That's it for Olson, ladies and gentlemen. A ticket punched several times. Oh my God. Folks, I've never been more wrong. That is not over for Olson. He is still moving. None of the bullets were a kill shot. He's had at least 3 wounds, all in his stomach. The crowd is stunned, and so am I, as Hank Olson stands back up. Ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen such a grotesquely inspiring scene as this young man compels himself back onto his feet. He takes a step down the road and then another. His hands are holding in his intestines, most of them at least, as he, I spoke too soon, a couple of ropes or something just flopped out of him, and now he's putting them back in. He's squishing them back into... For the young ones at home, you are not supposed to do that. Kids, do not push your organs back into your body. Let the medical professionals handle something like that. But since Olson, of course, doesn't have the luxury, you can't blame him for what he is doing. Oh, boy, there goes Mr. Abraham now. It has caught sight of the gore, and Abraham is throwing up, and as more boys turn back to look at Olson and this disgusting spectacle, Abraham is not alone. Many others are starting to vomit.
Number 42, Fritz, upchucks his watermelon, rind and all. Ugh.
And it's just what I feared. It's lard-ass syndrome all over again. Even I feel queasy. And it's taking every bit of my broadcasting experience to keep it together. My apologies. The smell on the asphalt must be horrendous as Olson continues to walk. He's leaving an unspeakable trail behind him. It's not red like blood, it's black. And amid the mayhem, number 88, Stebbins, is actually laughing at this. Here I thought Barkovich was the cold-hearted one of the bunch. Olson stumbles. He's now on his hands and knees. He's crawling. God's plenty is dangling from his wounds, jiggling out of him onto the pavement, and still he crawls. This may be the longest that a walker has ever survived after a punched ticket, but of course the soldiers know what they are doing. They are setting an example. I don't think any other walker is going to try this stunt again. By the way, that rifle was scattered into the crowd, and I'm betting the spectator has run off with a one-of-a-kind souvenir. Ooh, another shot. But this one is just hitting the asphalt. They're toying with him. It was right next to his hand. I told you. These soldiers would get creative during the last half of this. And now what's happening? Raymond Garrity is running to Olson's side. He is down on his knees. He is actually embracing Olson. I'm guessing he feels guilty about whatever it was he said to him that made Olson have this reversal of fortune. And McVry's, still being the guardian angel yet again, he is pulling Garrity back on track, though they both get a warning for their compassion, if you want to call it that. Number 70 is coughing up blood and bile, still crawling, but oh my God, he is getting back up on his feet. If his family is watching this back at home, Mr. and Mrs. Olson, You've got to be proud of your boy. Just look at him. If Garrity hadn't been playing mind games with him, who knows how far he could have gone. Oh, but now he's stopping. He's looking up at the sky. He is screaming, "I did it wrong." And now he falls to the ground. And mercifully, the soldiers have ended him. Number 70. Hank Olson. Maybe you did do it wrong, sir, but you also did your best. And as night carries on, the remaining walkers have no choice but to keep doing their best, and we will continue to watch in awe and in reverence as the long walk goes on. I am ever your host, Bobby Thompson, and I hope that you will continue on with us and keep that dial turned to this channel